So my dudes, welcome back to PLB Green. Today we take a close look at my creek paludarium. This paludarium has been running for about 3 months now. The tank is 3 foot by 1.5 foot, so it has quite a large footprint. The large base gave me room to run a creek from the right to the left-hand side. It runs the full length of the tank. The bottom fifth of the aquarium is filled with a substrate at the front and some foam lifts at the back. The foam lifts make the whole setup much lighter, and they also retain beneficial bacteria. They lift up the log, which is the main focal point of the tank, and the little creek runs down and through the front. There's no substrate for the plants except for sphagnum moss, and the sphagnum moss just sits on top of the rock layer and in between cracks and crevices, and all of the plants are pushed into the sphagnum moss. There's a small fan at the back of the tank, and this just helps to circulate the air and keep the airflow going. It also reduces humidity and condensation on the front panel, so you can always see into the paludarium. At the moment, the paludarium is at school. I'm a primary school teacher, and currently it's sitting next to our blue Acara grow-out tank. In this tank there are 6 blue neon Acara, and we're growing them out, and we're going to try and breed them, get them to lay eggs. The bottom fifth of the tank, where the pebbles and foam are, is filled with water, and at the back right hand corner of the tank, in a PVC pipe, is a small pump with a tube that runs up to the start of the creek. The water then runs down the creek and back into the pebble layer, where it is returned to the pump and repeats the cycle. The pebbles are really helpful for filtering the water and making a habitat for beneficial bacteria. There are currently no inhabitants to this aquarium. What am I saying? No inhabitants? Of course there are. There is a large colony of springtails They are my cleanup crew. What are they cleaning up? Not much, because there's nothing really to clean up after, but they will eat things like mold or any rotten vegetation that falls off the plants. Maintenance for this tank is really simple. All I have to do is refill the water as it evaporates. I always use dechlorinated water just because the moss doesn't like chlorine, and I find that if you use tap water, the moss kind of shrivels up and burns and eventually dies. Every day I give this tank a little spray of dechlorinated water, especially the areas that don't get water directly from the creek. And there is a close look at my creek paludarium. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time on PLB Green.